I've had my teeth done. I did a full mouth restoration, and I picked the whitest teeth you could find, which I'm really happy with.
And I will tell you one thing, that word of mouth is the biggest marketing.
Yeah.
So no matter how many commercials, no matter how many YouTube videos, no matter anything we do, it's word of mouth.
I don't care, because I mean, some people, they'll ask you like, dude, your teeth are so perfect. Some people just believe, oh my God, those are amazing. You have great teeth. Thank you. And some people are like, did you get your teeth done? And at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. You end up spending years and years and years trying to correct issues, and you go through more pain. And literally, I came in here, and 4 days later, I left with a brand new mouth.
Hello, welcome to supremedental podcast studio. You can be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. My name is Frank Navarro. My wife and I are the owners of Supreme Dental Clinic. Don't forget to subscribe. We also have a phone number and email. You can send us any questions or concerns to any future videos you guys would like to see. And today we got someone very special here. We got Mr. Sells, Mr. Benjamin Sells.
Yes, thank you.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Second trip down here in 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
So you are our second patient that we have here at the podcast.
Okay.
And this is really what I wanted. So we have a lot of patients that come in. We have them in videos. We have them at the podcast. And people see them getting new teeth, and then, you know, they don't come back. It's rare for them to come back. And that's a good thing. But you came back because you're bringing a significant other with you.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I've had my teeth done. I did a full mouth restoration, and I picked the whitest teeth you could find, which I'm really happy with. But no, my fiance had battled with basically just genetic issues when it came to her teeth. She came from actually Armenia when she was young. And so a lot of the dentistry work or dental work that was done prior to and arriving when she was young with her family, they didn't know much. And so it wasn't the best of work. And so it was a lot of dark black fillings. And like when she smiled, there's a lot of insecurities. So just kind of basically she battled kind of the same things I did as far as the insecurity level. But she was really confident. I mean, she's got a ton of confidence. She's amazing. And so, like, obviously she can pull anything off. And so for her, it wasn't, I think, as bad for her as it was for me. But I think she saw the confidence in how excited I am about my teeth, where it kind of led her to asking more questions about it. And then ultimately, it was a cracked tooth out of nowhere. She was I don't know what she was eating. It was something stupid. And she bit into it and was like, shit, I cracked my tooth. And so we looked at it, and just the cost to even get that done looked like it was just going to lead into more issues and more issues because of all the bad work done prior. So that's when I reached out and I text you.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I'm in Cabo. Yeah. I was like,
this is true. This is true.
And I was like, I don't care. I enjoy Cabo. I just need to know, can we do something here? And that was the start of it. Yeah. And you were just rock and roll as usual. And you're like, yeah, send me pics. Let's get it lined up.
Thank you.
Sent you pics, got everything lined up, and sure as shit, I got a call, and you were like, yeah, when can you do it? I was like, let's pull the trigger. I think it was like 5 days later. Let's do it Monday. You're like, yeah, come on down. And so, yeah, that was kind of it. And so now we've been down here, and I think yesterday, she got her tops put in. And that to her, I don't think she stopped FaceTiming people last night, even though her mouth was numb and she couldn't talk for anything. She FaceTimed her mom, her sister, friends, family. Yeah, and just kind of seeing like the already bright light she had just kind of amplified. So, yeah, man, that was it was a pretty cool experience so far. 3 years later to be back where I started. Yeah,
that's crazy, because when you say that, it makes a huge difference. Sometimes when you before you do your teeth and you think everything's okay. I mean, you want to make them a little bit whiter, whatever it is. But once you guys get it done, then you notice, like you told me yesterday, you noticed how you wouldn't cover your mouth when you smile as much, and you know, and then probably when somebody would tell you, "Damn, man, those are some nice white teeth," it gives beauty to your face, but it gives beauty to your soul. It really makes you like, hey, you know what, it's different. I'm actually gonna get mine done also. And obviously, if we have this product, I believe in my product, so I want to get it done also. And I was just looking at some pictures. We're in Cabo. My wife has beautiful teeth. She just has great genetics. Like, she has nothing done, and she has beautiful white teeth. And my teeth are not bad, but I want them white. I want that. So I was looking at the pictures in Cabo, and she's smiling and I'm smiling and I'm just looking at my teeth like, oh my God, I got to change my teeth.
You know, Gogs asked me about that. She goes, why doesn't Frank have his teeth done? I go, because his teeth are straight as shit. Like, they're super straight. And I mean, they're white. They're not like bright white, but you're also in your mid to late 30s. So, yeah, it's kind of funny you bring that up because she asked me that question. I go, I don't know. If I had his teeth, I wouldn't have got it done either. I think there's stages to, and everybody's different, right? It's a relative statement, right? Like, my teeth to somebody else could have been like, wow, those aren't that bad.
Exactly. Or he has teeth.
Yeah, or he has teeth at all, generally. Well, that just depends on a lot of life decisions for most people. But no, I think it's just relative to like how much it bothers you. And to your point, like, the one thing I would always get, I guess I was really good at taking pictures in the military when I was in the Army because you're just stern as shit. And you put on kind of that don't mess with me face. But
well, thank you for serving.
Yeah, of course. And then I think you think back and you go, man, how many times people would look at me when I'd be in a picture and be like, you look pissed off, right? People get that picture. They get that saying a lot when they have bad teeth or they just don't like to smile because of their teeth. They're insecure. Did you look upset? And you're just like, no, it's just who I am, or try to lighten up or have fun. And you kind of become the dampener on a picture, and you're like, I don't want to be in that picture because I know what I'm going to say. I know what I'm going to do. I know what they're going to say, and like you kind of have this in your head already. I know it sounds stupid as shit to say that because for some people it's over teeth who are born genetically just like with profoundly great teeth, and all of a sudden they're like, I've never experienced that. Well, you haven't because you haven't been in our shoes. Exactly. But I think for me, it kind of just deterred me from kind of building these fun memories with people, or at least capturing the memories, not so much building them. And so now it's one of those things where it's like jump in a picture, and I'm excited to because I know I can contribute to it, and I can contribute to that excitement. I don't have to hide it. And I think one of the big things too we talked about was just like you and I now how we're speaking. Yeah. I think if this was 3 years ago and I went to laugh, and then I go to talk, and like if I knew anything that showed my teeth, it was just I trained over my life. I trained myself to not smile as hard, not lift my lip,
and it was normal,
right? Cover my mouth, and like I would always smile, and like when I cover and so you're subconsciously you're putting up these barriers between you and somebody else, where you're blocking them out, and you're not doing it to block them out. You're doing it to protect yourself because of an insecurity. Yeah. And I think ultimately, that was kind of the most interesting feeling when I first had them done, was to stop doing that. And it's almost like, I don't know how to describe it other than you just kind of feel confidently naked, if that makes sense. Or like if you were to stand in a room full of people, like most people would be like, what the fuck is going on? But this, I don't know, you just walk out and you're like, it is what it is. And I think there's just so much more confidence in what you have to offer, I guess, or what you have to show when it comes to your smile.
And I will tell you one thing, that word of mouth is the biggest marketing.
Yeah.
So no matter how many commercials, no matter how many YouTube videos, no matter anything we do, it's word of mouth. Because obviously your fiance came because of you. Yeah. And she didn't have to perhaps Google us and look at us for months or watch videos. She looked at you. Yeah. And she said, I'm going there. Yeah. And that's crazy. Now,
well, to be fair, like she's like, you're married as well, so I'm sure you get it. And for those of us that are married or engaged in relationships, when it comes to picking out food, I don't know how your wife is, but my fiance will like Yelp it and then Google it and then check reviews and look it up. Like she's just
that's good.
They're FBI agents, man. And so when she saw my teeth, she's seen it. She still. This is to your benefit. She still looked up like the Instagram, and then she looked up, the reviews and all this stuff. And though she sees what I have and she respects it and she believes in me, she's not going to follow blindly. So even that, I think, coupled with what she was looking at your Instagram, and there's people that, again, it's relative to like you look at your teeth and go, mine are unfixable. Like she had a really big gap in her teeth, and so for her, I don't think she needed to see something relative to that. Right, for it to make sense. Like if my teeth were, I used to have one tooth really far in front of all the other ones, so it's kind of like this. It's almost like a triangle, right? It's very different than hers being spread out. So if I were to see someone with gap teeth get fixed, I'd be like, that doesn't really do anything for me because my teeth are very compressed. And I think for her, she started seeing there were people who weren't just having gaps, but they were missing teeth completely. Yeah. And then she was like, holy shit, like this is possible. And so. It's not just seeing it on me. I think it's people being able to lean on your resources as well, and have them find themselves in one of the pictures or one of the reviews that you have done already.
No, well, that's great, because if I actually look up a restaurant and I tell my wife about it, we're probably not going there.
Yeah.
So she has completely different taste of I like barbecue and weird stuff, and she likes not the stuff that I like. I don't know.
She likes healthy food.
She likes, it's like I have a bag of chips and she's eating like cucumber and or my kids do the same thing too. Like my little boy, my little girl, they drink water all the time. They go to the restaurant and they ask for water.
Yeah.
And the people serving us are looking at us like, are you making them? And I'm like, no, I'll take a Mountain Dew. Like, you know? But
well, you like sweet water. You said that you like horchata water, yeah?
I do like horchata water. Yeah, I'm a big boy.
Yeah. Welcome to Dental Facts. Did you know people prefer blue toothbrushes instead of the red ones? You heard it first at Supremedental podcast. Floss, brush, and keep smiling.
But I want to talk about yesterday when I was, I'm going to sound like a stalker, but I went on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I seen that there was a picture that really got to me. And you're in a wedding. And you're like this. Oh, yeah. And that was awesome.
Was it the wedding I was in a couple weddings, but it was in a wedding in Mexico. I was wearing like a pink and white suit.
There was, I think that the
bride and groom are behind me.
Yes.
That was my buddy Sean's wedding. Yeah. Ended up being in his wedding. Yeah. And I think it was a flower boy for shits and giggles, actually. And that's what it was. I was throwing flowers in there.
Exactly. You were. Yeah. And you looked happy, man. You were smiling.
Yeah.
It was as big as it gets.
Well, I think that's the thing too, is again, you kind of have to train yourself to get there. Yeah. I wasn't there out of the gate. Like if you would have found me even probably 6 months after I got my teeth done, you're still battling, right? Like these insecurities, these defense mechanisms.
Yeah, they don't just go away like this.
They don't, no. And then you're like, when you get ready, like, fuck, people are going to know they're fake. And then you look at me and I'm like, go bright white. Like, I just give it away. But I don't care because, I mean, some people, they'll ask you, like, dude, your teeth are so perfect. Some people just believe, oh, my God, those are amazing. You have great teeth. Thank you. And some people are like, did you get your teeth done? And at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit what their question is. It's always like, yeah, and if I got them done, yeah, I did. Like,
I mean, they're yours. You paid for them. So.
Right? That's kind of my thing is like, to be in complete fairness, like if you took a woman who had nothing up top and decides to get surgery and, you know, get something bigger done up top, like good a boob job, like rock and roll, look at her confidence. Like, and that's, I think for men is like, there's not many things that we have to really take, like you can have muscles, you can be built, you can be in shape, but teeth are a big thing for men to be taken seriously. And I think it's for a woman will look at you and say, you know, he has good hygienic value. He respects himself enough to take care of his teeth. And like, there are certain things that make sense, yes, that I can control it to a certain extent. But once I get into my 30s and late 30s, like genetically, there's only so many things I can do before. Right. If my teeth aren't straight, my teeth aren't straight. And like getting braces is this whole ordeal. And then I got to wear retainer. And then again, there's subconscious factors like, you know, did he not take care of himself when he was younger? Why is he doing? So there's so many things where I think you're able to sidestep a lot of more issues that would arise trying to do it in an elongated way where you're doing your braces and retainers rather than just going in and getting it done. And so
you'd be 40 with braces too.
Yeah, right. So and again, that is kind of a negative connotation, or people look at you and go, "Why did it take this long?" Or really?
I mean, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with everybody who has it, but it's a little bit different. Yeah,
I mean, again. If you have them and you're 40, rock and roll. I just feel like it's one of those things like really at this point, like, So for me, again, it took about 6 months. You're not going to go out and get your teeth done and then automatically just be like, oh man, like everything's gone. I feel amazing. Like, I think for anybody who gets any sort of adjustment made to their physical, you know, appearance, they have to figure out how they can carry that confidently. And I think for me, by that picture you're talking about is where I finally have come into like, oh, these are my teeth now, right? And so this is my look, this is my appearance. And it just gave me a whole new world of confidence. And again, like I said, I'm able to contribute, like I said earlier, I'm able to contribute to photos now where I'm not like, if this was the old me, they would have been happy on their wedding day and I'm sitting there like pissed off because I don't want to smile, right? So, yeah, I think that photo was definitely a sign of like me becoming comfortable with what I have.
Now tell me a little bit about Mr. Sells. What do you do?
Restaurateur. So hospitality, ex-military. So I used to do aviation. I did arm and electrical and avionics on scout and attack helicopters. I did about 3 tours. I think that's where I got the brunt of like most of my teeth getting beat up, to be completely honest. And honestly, hats off. I think this is a huge plug. And just thinking of it now, for military, I think ex-military, there isn't anything for us when we get fed shit food and MREs, and you're out in the field and you can't, brush your teeth all the time. I mean, it takes a toll on you, on your mouth. And then all of a sudden you come home and you're like, yeah, we'll fix your cavity, but your mouth's fucked and figure it out. And then all of a sudden you look like you're like me. I'm spending a year, 2 years in LA of all places, and in Beverly Hills, like getting quotes for like $80,000, $90,000. I think $82,000 was my quote for what I wanted, which was nowhere near what I paid here. And so it wasn't realistic. And so I think for me, that would be my thing too, is I think for anybody who is ex-military and you've been through what we've all been through in the field and in deployment, there's a huge opportunity, I think, for you to make right what you feel you should have or what you deserve. And I think for me, that was a big thing. I was like, I had nowhere to turn. The VA wouldn't give me any.
Which I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't get how somebody could go and defend the country at 18, but you can have a drink till you're 21.
Yeah, well,
what is going on right now?
You want to get into my politics? We can do that, but that's a whole different podcast. No, I'm definitely not a firm believer in a lot of the things that you're able to do and not able to do in that 18 to 21 range. My biggest problem is I've watched myself and others give everything and give all, and not be able to come back and say, hey, like, I'd like to get this done, right? It definitely would help me out, and it cures a lot of the issues too, especially bad teeth and genetically. If you have a lot of cavities, you kind of get rid of that opportunity from happening as well. And it really just boils down to taking care of your gum line mostly, and making sure that you're hydroflossing and do the correct things. And then for them just to tell you, no, but we can fix fix all the shit we did to your teeth, but you're still stuck with the residuals and the back, whatever falls out from that. And so then you go to the VA, and then it's 9-10 months to get an appointment. And then you get a shit doctor, and then they don't give you're just a number. And so like, these things add up where you end up spending years and years and years trying to correct issues, and you go through more pain. And literally, I came in here, and 4 days later, I left with a brand new mouth. We get a lot of veterans, and they either get fillings or they get extractions. Yeah. There's no in between. So we get a lot of vets here. Yeah. And actually, we're about to take on a case from a vet. And they want to pull out his teeth and just give him dentures. And he's been to hell and back. Yeah. And they just want to give him some throwaway. The VA?
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to be shit dentures too. It's just going to make him look like hell. It's going to ruin his confidence. Yeah.
That's crazy. Now, you also have businesses.
I do.
What do you have? What do you do?
So again, like I said, I do restaurant. I'm a restaurateur. So I have 4 pizzerias, 3 under one brand, 1 under a different brand. And then I have 3 delis, like sandwich shops. Nice. All throughout Southern California, from Los Angeles down to Huntington Beach. And then we're looking at actually expanding out towards Arizona. We're looking at doing a national expansion, actually, a franchise expansion.
That's insane.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. I think we're looking at a 100-store expansion. Ooh. Kind of puts you in a different realm.
I don't know what that'd be like, but that sounds pretty crazy.
I mean, I don't know what it's like either yet. I'm hoping that there's still a lot of work to be done to get there. But it's nice, I think, when the day's grinding in the kitchen and, shoulder to shoulder with your people and teaching them your values and your culture and your ways and empowering them to be, if they're not as good as you or better, then we failed as a leader mentality.
That's exactly right.
And so you kind of see these people that flourish and have turned into just phenomenal humans and phenomenal leaders, and they give a shit about the people around them, and they take pride in not just the store and the ownership of it, but the people on their team. And yeah, I think that's the beauty behind this, is watching people build their own teams, right? Like you have your team, I'm sure. You and your wife have your team and your group, and I have my team. But when your team starts to build their team, yeah, I imagine it's what it feels like becoming a grandparent. And I don't even have a kid, but there's like a beautiful thing behind going like, holy shit, what I did was sustainable. Like what I created was able to create. And I think that to me is the ultimate victory of a leader, going, holy hell, that's where we're at. But that's the only reason we're able to do this expansion, is because of that.
You know, we have a total of 34 people in our team. And in the past, there's been 3 dentists who have got their own ways, and they built their own clinics.
Oh, sure.
So that means that what we were doing, what we taught them, you know, actually helped them out.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody says, oh, man, that's more competition. Well, it depends how you see it. You know, there's enough for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as long as you're doing things right, things are going to go right. And always to do things right is the hardest.
Yeah.
Hardest road is to do things right, and you know it.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, you're the boss. You're in Cabos on top of a yacht, and you're just relaxing, drinking Mai Tais. I was on a yacht.
Yeah.
And my wife,
hold on. There is a point where you do get to do that, but not every day.
And my wife was drinking Mai Tais, but I was also answering phone calls, and I was also answering texts, and there was an email that I got, and I was answering your text too. So it comes with the territory, you know, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I think what people, and that's the beauty, right, is these people start to develop into their roles. They kind of realize you're trading one inconvenience for another. And I say inconvenience, I use the term loosely, one challenge, I should say, or opportunity of growth. Yeah. But it is an inconvenience in the beginning. Like, fuck, this sucks. Like when you start working at a restaurant, you're like, fuck, I'm scrubbing dishes and washing toilets, this sucks. And then it becomes an inconvenience that you got to do the toilets every night. Then you become a shift lead. And then you're like, man, I got to close this drawer and count receipts and track everybody down for their tips every night. So, like, again, what you feel is an inconvenient shift. And everybody does think, like, especially in my industry, oh, you have 8 restaurants or 7 or 8 restaurants, and, you know, you have all these employees, and all you do is you have nice things, and you do all these amazing things all the time. And it's like, you really don't get it. Yes, do I get to experience more freedom in my schedule? Yes, because I write it and I control it. And do I get to financially have a little more freedom than I had previously? Of course. But to your point, what you don't get is I also sacrifice that I'm not able to come and take, if we were to take 4 days off of work to come down here, right, and we worked we worked in the restaurant, then I'm off for 4 days. Like I do whatever I want. But instead to come down here to get my fiance taken care of for 4 days, we're up at 8 in the morning. We're calling EDD because someone files an unemployment claim. You've been working since,
you've been answering phone calls and different random stuff since you've been here, yes.
Yeah, and so like that's the inconvenience you trade. You're never off.
You don't turn off.
No.
So you're an employee, you turn off, you go home, you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And when you're an owner, you still do whatever you want, but you don't turn off.
And that's the point, is you can be on top of drinking Mai Tais at some point in time, or you enjoy a good vacation, but that vacation is never disconnected. You're never fully disconnected.
You can't.
And so that time where it's like, oh, I want to do this, like I can't actually have this conference I got to be on. So you and the kids go to the pool. I want to do this. No, you and the kids go scuba. Okay, I'll meet you there. So you get to live intermittently through this vacation, but you're never fully immersed in it. And that's what people don't understand, is when you try to build your own company, you lose the ability to immerse yourself completely into an experience if you're trying to make sure that you're growing a company. Now, if you open a company and you made it self-sustainable and you want one company and that's your dream, cool. And a lot of people do that, then you can have a life of freedom, financial freedom and personal time freedom. But if you're trying to grow from what you did, 1 clinic to 2 clinic to a podcast to here to there, and me grow restaurants, like you lose that freedom of having that ability to immerse yourself in it. Go, I'm gonna be gone for 7 days, my phone's off, because it's just not humanly possible. Mm-hmm. And if you do it, you come back to a mountain of work that you got to cipher, or a mountain of problems that you got to untangle, just because you are needed for just quick resolution. As leaders, there's things that come up that you need to, on a dime, you need to figure it out and fire an answer off, and your team needs to be able to follow direction. So that's my take on. Yeah, you can go on vacation, but you're not always fully on vacation.
So if you don't mind, what are the names of your restaurants?
So Ghost is Ghost Pizza Kitchen, Ghost Sando Shop, and then Village Pizza in Larchmont. So Ghost is a brand that I created. I also have Ghost Burger Kitchen. So Ghost is the brand that I created that owns multiple concepts throughout LA. Village Pizza is a partnership that I was brought into with some buddies of mine that actually bought a pizzeria that is one of the longest standing in LA. It's been there, I think, like 30-something years.
Wow.
Beautiful location. It's like you're walking back into like old-time New York, like neon clocks on the walls everywhere.
That's awesome.
Newspapers, pictures, the whole nine. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of that project. But those are the brands that I have currently. Looking to extend hopefully on some more in the future.
Currently.
Yeah.
You've been a podcast before, you said.
Yeah, so I did with a buddy of mine. One of the pizzerias, we actually interview celebrities, teach them how to make pizzas, and then I rate their pizza on how I feel they did. The one we did was Patty the Batty from the UFC, who is notorious for not having a diet when he's not fighting. And this dude, absolute riot, total sweetheart. It was right before his surgery. He had a thing on his ankle or his knee. But now we just mess around. We make pizzas and bullshit, and it's more just talking shop, unscripted. You know, men amongst men when the guys are there, and then women are there. It's just kind of, you know, men and women discussing, I think, some of the more challenging conversations that need to be had.
Yeah.
That I think politically we shy away from.
Yeah.
And
religion and politically, you can't really touch those.
Yeah, and I think there's a beauty behind opening up, you know, somebody's commitment to whatever it is they're committed to, and trying to either understand it or offer your counter to why you don't feel that is the right path or path of progression. And I think right now people, as long as you have the right people in the room, you have adults in the room, they're willing to like kind of be opened up a little bit.
Who else have you had in your podcast?
It's not my podcast, and I don't want to go through the list of, it's mine and Frank's, who's an actor, Frank Grillo. And it's not really a podcast, it's more of like, it's video, right? It's like actually
it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah. So you can find it on YouTube. Patty the Batty, I know, posted on his page.
We'll post a link also.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting concept, but it's not my identity. It's not who I am.
It's like drinking wine and painting kind of deal.
No.
You make pizza and you
kind of, yeah. I think it honestly happened organically, because I was only supposed to be there in the beginning just to teach someone how to make a pizza, because I was the only pizza maker as the partner in the restaurants. And then it just kind of turned into me staying there for the whole set. And then that kind of turned into, we had a meeting with, I think, so it just kind of, I went in and was teaching how to make a pie, and I was staying the whole time. And then I got an offer. They come up to me and said, "Hey, you and Frank, like, you had some magic going. Do you guys want to do something together?" I remember looking at it going like, "Why the fuck are you asking me? Like, Frank is the movie star." Like, I was like, "Frank, is this some shit you want to do with me? Like, I'm a nobody. I make pies. That's it." And he's like, "Fuck yeah, brother. Let's go." And that's so awesome. All of a sudden it steamrolled into these meetings we had with these execs and put together, you know, kind of the plan of action to grow it. And so, yeah, that's been the fetal stages. But I've never, for me, I'm not like a camera person. Like, I don't mind it. I don't shy from it. But it's not my identity. Like, my identity's in the kitchen, making food and serving people and growing the brand.
That's good. No, that's good. Well, once again, we want to say thank you for being here. Obviously, I know that you're super busy. Actually, you were answering phone calls and text messages before we jumped on set.
Well, I think my phone's been vibrating my crotch for like the last 30 minutes. I don't know if you'll hear it back in the play, but I'm not scratching myself and trying to mute my phone.
I was thinking what was going on because you were smiling a lot. But you know what? Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much out there. You know, like I said, we appreciate you guys. This podcast was meant for you, the patient. You know, Ben, he's not an actor. He might have an actor mouth, but he's not an actor. I have a
smile of one now. Hey.
And you know, we don't do this for a living itself. We just wanted to get out there and let you guys know all about this experience. But thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.